Hey folks, welcome back to HeartGold vs. Crystal. We are here in Mahogany Town, and we are finally heading back over to take care of the gyms in Olivine and Cyanwood that I so horribly and inhumanly neglected earlier on. But of course we have a bit of traveling to do, and a trainer-infested route or two to go through before we do that. So I present to you Webster's Grand Day Out. Basically the purpose of this route that we're going to be going to is to get Webster back up to the level as the same level as the rest of the team, basically, and to evolve him, since he didn't really have the opportunity in Morty's gym. So you are going to see lots of Webster on plenty of other Pokemon action here in this episode, and all of you haters who were complaining about an unequal representation should have all your fears alleviated and your needs satisfied. That also means this is going to be a very action-packed episode and have a lot of trainer fights. Anyway, first things first is like the worst thing possible for Webster to fight. It's a normal flying type. Webster's only good attacking move right now is, Nightshade, which doesn't affect normal types, and the flying type is super effective against Bug. So, basically the worst possible thing. So Everett does need to help out a little bit. Doduo is a pretty cool guy, let me just say. Introduced in the first generation. And it's a weird two-headed ostrich thing, I don't even know. It evolves into a weird three-headed ostrich thing. And it's pretty rad. I know, it's another one of those cool things that I haven't really used, since often they're available later on in the game and I already have a team. And also normal flying types tend to be rather boring. I think I have used a Doduo at some point though, I don't remember when, but it seems familiar. But anyway, plan here is bait and switch. Everett, of course, is a real, killer now, what with return and stab and adaptability and a pretty good level. So, destroying things quite efficiently. But Webster will get experience, I swear it. Anyway, unfortunately, because I was a little slow on the uptake, I forgot to take the experience share away from Frida and then give it to Webster. So Frida's still getting a bunch of experience when I would much rather give that experience to Webster. Now, I still sort of want to level up Frida, because Frida will eventually learn Confusion at level 27, and that will be useful against an upcoming gym leader. But Webster's kind of the priority here. So, hopefully pretty soon, efficiently, I will alleviate any sort of concerns about that issue. Anyway, Doduos go down. Take care of him like a normal flying type. Anyway, there are a couple actually routes through this route, so to speak. You got the lower route, where you kind of have to deal with a gigantic mass of grass, so you might be dealing with wild Pokemon, or you can go the upper route with a bunch of trainers. And of course, because I'm me, I will be taking both. So I need to fight everything. Fight all the trainers. And we got a Sailor here. I'm actually really surprised we haven't seen more Woopers in this playthrough, because Wooper is one of those Pokemon that really sticks in my head, but I haven't really seen it much. It's weird. So, Water Ground, so use Grass-type moves on it, or just use Nightshade. Sooner or later, Webster is going to get a better move than Nightshade, but I'll give you a hint, it's later. It's definitely not sooner. Yeah, Wooper goes down. Pretty high-leveled Wooper, I guess. Shouldn't it have evolved by now? I've never used a Wooper, I don't know when it evolves, but it evolves into a Quagsire somewhere around now. Maybe it sticks in my head because they're so gosh darn common in Diamond, Pearl, Platinum. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, now we have a Flaffy. Flaffy's the evolved form of Mareep. It's weird, the sheep Pokemon, lose wool as they level up, and I don't really understand why. Because I usually take the shaved wool, not having fur, has a sign of vulnerability and weakness. But, okay, alright. Anyway, Flaffy can be annoying because it has the ability Static. And Static, as I've complained about many times before, maybe not in this playthrough, but definitely many times before, any move that makes physical contact with them can paralyze the attacker. And it's really annoying, because sometimes it's like all you have. So yeah. Also, she is Moomoo Milk. Moomoo Milk is one of those things that's hard for me to say, so I will avoid saying it. Anyway, you can see the vast damage difference between using Nightshade and using Shadow Sneak there. Shadow Sneak has its uses, but it's not against, like, most Pokemon. Maybe against super effective things, if they're particularly frail. But anyway, Flaffy, Static, it's a jerk. Luckily Nightshade does not make physical contact, so I'm a bit safe there. Yeah, look at all that experience. So nice to not have to share. And then Psyduck, which I always have to remind myself isn't actually part Psychic. So Shadow Sneak wasn't actually super effective against this guy. As you will see demonstrated here. It's weird, it's Psyduck, it has Psy in the name. It gets confusion, and that's like one of its marketing points. But neither it nor its evolution are part Psychic, as far as I'm aware. Unless I've been, like, lied to for the past decade. That, of course, is not without precedent. I've been wrong about terrible things before, but I just checked on Bulbapedia, so ha, they're pure water. But as you can see, yeah, Shadow Sneak, not doing too much, and also confusion, a little bit dangerous. Frida, of course, is pretty optimal against this guy, resist water and resist psychic, and can dish out a grass-type move in order to do super effective things. Unfortunately, Solar Beam is still my best grass-type move. There we go. I swear that won't happen very often. This is all Webster's show, of course. No, I don't want free stuff. Screw you. Anyway, probably the I don't know if it's the most threatening, but definitely the most memorable trainer on this route for me is this guy. He is a schoolboy, nerd, kid guy who has a Mr. Mime. And Mr. Mimes, of course, are the things of nightmares. They are psychic types, which would be weak to Shadow Sneak if it weren't a weak move already, so... But yeah, it's, Mr. Mime is another one of those kind of weird Pokemon, not just because it's a clown, but when it was introduced in first generation, you could only get it through an in-game trade. So, every Mr. Mime had the same nickname, and had the same, OT, original trainer, like, thing. It was a little silly. But then, of course, this game introduced the ability to breed them. And I don't actually remember where you can get Mr. Mime in this game, other than trading from Red, Blue, Yellow, Green. There must be a way, but I don't remember it. And I say this game as in Gold, Silver, Crystal. HeartGold, Soul Silver, you can get it from plenty of other sources, like 3rd generation games, other 4th generation games, probably Pokewalker too. But anyway, I remember it because Mr. Mime is the stuff of nightmares. That's basically it. And because I want to see where that Mr. Mime goes in the future, let's get that. Ooh, speaking of the phone. Hate hate things like that. It would actually, the most hilarious thing that could happen would be if someone pocket dialed in this game. Kind of amazed that that isn't the thing. If I were programming this game, I would make that a thing. Anyway, this girl has a Hoppip, and later on, the evolution of Hoppip, or one of them, the second stage. Hopefully we'll see the third stage, because third stage is interesting too. But it's finally another use for Poison Sting, because it's actually weak to Poison Sting. God, not many things weak to Poison Sting. Poison Sting, kind of a crappy move. Now, one thing that should be noted is that there is a stronger Poison-type move currently available that I forgot was available at the time. So we'll be getting that after a major plot event in the future. It's not ideal for Webster because it's special type rather than physical, and Webster is a physical attacker. But it will be better than Poison Sting until Webster learns Poison Jab by level up, which will be like level 50 or something. For now, we're sticking with Poison Sting. And here's a Skiploom, second stage of Hoppip. I like Hoppip's like evolutionary step process. It's like little grass or leafy stuff, and then it opens up into a flower, and then it turns into dandelion fluff. But yeah, Hoppip, Skiploom, and its final evolution, I think, are more slow defensive status oriented, so that's why it's using paralysis and isn't doing a whole lot of damage to Webster. That and Webster is pretty good at resisting what Skiploom can dish out. And of course, it just barely manages to live from that poison. Probably should have taken this turn to heal the paralysis, but you know how I am. I'm dumb. That's how I am. But anyway, that takes care of the first part of Webster's Grand Day Out, and I will see you guys after this commercial break for the rest of this route. And another route. And an evolution. Alrighty, we are continuing on. We are done with whatever route number that is, and moving on to Route 39. And here we have a guy. Look at this guy. I think his name is Baoba, but I just call him Balboa. It's a lot easier to say, believe it or not. And this is the Warden of the Safari Zone. Now, this is new to HeartGold and Soul Silver. The original second generation games did not have a Safari Zone. They had a Safari Zone in Fuchsia that was shut down because the Warden left. But it was not active. The closest thing you had was the National Park and the bug catching contest there. HeartGold and Soul Silver has the Warden from Kanto come over here and create a new Safari Zone with all sorts of wonderful Pokemon. And we may or may not show that off. I don't really know. But it was a welcome addition. It was something that was very lacking in the originals. And then we also have like a cow farm over there, dairy farm. Yeah, that's a thing. You can get milk there if you want. Anyway, look at this guy. He is a Slowpoke. Slowpoke can be a bit of a butt for Webster. Webster, well, as you know, is weak to Psychic-type moves, since Webster Spark Poison. And Slowpoke is also a pretty durable Pokemon. So an unevolved Webster with a relatively not powerful Shadow Sneak, not gonna do a whole lot of damage. Luckily, this Slowpoke doesn't happen to have Confusion, since I guess it gets it at a late level from leveling up. So sticking with Water Gun, but his other Slowpoke, that guy has it. He's got the power. Slowpoke's pretty boss. I used a Slowking in my personal playthrough of HeartGold when I first played through it. Pretty fun, pretty rad. Liked it a lot. Anyway, that's Fury Swipes. It's not really reliable to do enough damage, and it's normal type. I could probably get more out of Nightshade nearly all the time. Anyway, yeah, this Slowpoke, level 20, he now has Confusion, and he will do dangerous things. Luckily, Frida is excellent at absorbing Psychic-type moves. Look at that. 5 damage. Can't do shit to me. Anyway, there's Curse. You saw Curse in the context of Morty's gym, but something I haven't really explained, and it isn't really relevant, but whatever, is that Curse does different things depending on whether or not the user is a ghost type or not. Ghost types, it'll cut the HP in half and do the whole take off a quarter of the opponent's HP every turn thing. If it's not a ghost, it will lower speed but raise attack and defense. It's actually really good. Anyway, talking about an evolution here. You see this? You see all this? Yeah. Now, I'll admit, I was a little concerned. I was worried that upon evolution, Webster wouldn't actually get much more useful, since he kind of was struggling before. I was afraid that problem wouldn't be alleviated, but actually it really was. Webster kicks a lot of ass coming up. Not necessarily in this episode, but in some certain key fights coming up, he's actually really useful. Also, he's useful here, not necessarily because of the evolution, but Poliwhirls in this game love to use Hypnosis, which puts your Pokemon to sleep. Webster, of course, is immune to Hypnosis because he has the Insomnia ability, so he's actually a great Pokemon to use against Poliwhirl. Considering my only real other option would be Frida, who can only really attack with Solar Beam, which is a 2-turn move. Poliwhirl would just put Frida to sleep before any damage got out. So Webster's really great against these guys. Oh, you jerk. Anyway, I pointed out that Ariados just has the frickin' coolest design. It's weird, garish, bold colors, but it's so cool. Look at all that. Anyway, considering whether or not I wanted to do a mirror match, bring in Klaus, decided, screw it, don't really feel like it. I don't remember why I decided that I didn't feel like it, but I didn't feel like it, so, deal with it. I probably could have brought in Frida and just done the same job now that Webster's all evolved, but whatever. Now, another test of Shadow Sneak shows that it's still not great for everyday use, unfortunately. It's basically for super effective situations. Nightshade is still the way to go, but I swear to God, Webster's gonna have good moves to use at some point eventually. I swear. You know, Nightshade isn't actually that bad of a move, admittedly. It has a weird relationship with usefulness. At the start it can be really useful, then it gets kind of not so useful, but then it gets useful again, and it depends on the Pokemon you're fighting. But it's managed to be pretty decent sometimes, usually, I guess. Anyway, there's Eradicate. Webster's not so great against Eradicate, unfortunately, since the whole Ghost type move thing. So, let's bring in Everett. I could really use a fighting move. I could teach Rock Smash to somebody, but Rock Smash isn't very good. Anyway, Eradicate. Trained in the art of living when it really shouldn't. It goes to the Coughing and Sudowoodo school of thought, I believe. Those are the two that like to live when they shouldn't. Anyway, 2 more fights left on this route. We've got 2 very similar trainers, actually. It's a man and a woman, but they are very similar. Because we are all similar in this great big world of ours. This one is Pikachu. Pikachu is a dick. Because Pikachus in this game love to use Double Team, and Double Team is that wonderful kind of move that increases evasion. And I realize that I'm a hypocrite because I was just using Sand Attack on Price, but good lord, given Pikachus the middle finger for doing things like that. Because, you know, it always favors the computer. Always. Anyway, Sandra's the only one with a ground type move, so let's use Dig until it works. Let's get lucky. Are you feeling lucky, Punk? I'm usually pretty lucky. Like, in my life, I tend to be a pretty lucky person. Not when I'm playing Pokemon. That, Pokemon just kind of drains all luck from the equation. Not sure how it works. Pikachu's Slowpoke Tentacle. That is the best, like, oh, I'm so sad kind of bitterness line. And then anyway, another Poke fan, another Pikachu. This one's female, goodness gracious. Yeah, one thing that, just because this gender difference thing, 4th generation introduced some very minor aesthetic differences in gender for various Pokemon. Mostly 4th generation Pokemon, but a couple Pokemon had retroactive design changes. So this Pikachu, its tail, because it's female, has that little notch to make it kind of look like a heart. Isn't it cute? The idea was basically ditched for 5th generation, unfortunately, because that's too much effort. And there we go. Nice dig there. Oh, you jerk. See, that's the static thing. And normally Pikachu wouldn't be able to paralyze Sandra because Thunder Wave doesn't work against ground types, but static manages to work because static is a big jerk. But anyway, that wraps up this route, Route 39 or whatever. So let's head on in to the port town of Olivine City, complete with the gym, and with a rival. Now that line always bugs me. In this version he says, you might become a better trainer, and the original he says, you might become less weak. Anyway, that takes care of this episode, and I will see you guys next time for the Olivine Lighthouse.